Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining the technical takeoff session, Understanding Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365 for Hybrid Work. I'm Eric Orman, Product Manager for Windows 365, and I'm joined today by my colleague Roop, Product Manager for Azure Virtual Desktop.
Thanks, Eric, and welcome everyone. At this year's Ignite, Cam Wedbrath and Kristen Scott hosted an on-demand session called Experience Windows in the Cloud with Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365, where they focused on key differences between the services so you can choose the best solution for your organization. In this session, we'll go a step deeper to show you how the admin in product experiences reflect the different design philosophies, how they align to IT admins with different skill sets, and the sorts of decisions admin needs to make before, during, and after deployment. And we'll be sure to provide links to key resources for you to check out the next steps coming out of this session. So let's jump right with a quick grounding in how we think about these products to frame our drill down. Eric, how about getting us started?
We know Windows is a critical foundation for our partners, customers, and business, whether natively installed on modern hardware or delivered from the cloud using Azure Virtual Desktop or Windows 365. It is key to enabling productivity and collaboration experiences.
And Azure Virtual Desktop has become a game changer for organizations looking for cost-effective cloud VDI solution to support new hybrid work strategies. It allows you to enable secure remote desktops and applications with maximum flexibility and full control over configuration and management without compromising on security. And you can reduce costs by leveraging exclusive Windows 11 and Windows 10 multi-session capabilities by running multiple users on a single virtual machine. Azure Virtual Desktop has grown around the globe and across every industry as organizations migrate and modernize their workloads to the cloud and enjoy these benefits and more from the service.
Now, Windows 365 is a software as a service, or a SaaS solution. It combines the power and security of the cloud with the familiarity of the PC, allowing employees to stream their personalized Windows desktop from the Microsoft cloud to any device. With Windows 365, we've created a new category of computing, the cloud PC. Just as we brought you Office to the cloud with Office 365, we brought Windows to the cloud with Windows 365 to enable new scenarios for a new world of work. So how do you know whether one or the other or both is best suited for your needs? Let's get into that. Windows 365 really shines when customers want to move very quickly to stand up a remote or hybrid work solution, especially for on and offboarding new employees, contractors, and interns. It's a great choice if they want to do it without much in-house infrastructure or VDI expertise. Cloud PCs can be set up, deployed, and easily scaled or resized to keep up with the changing user needs. These are the key factors customers think about as they consider Windows 365.
On the other hand, Azure Virtual Desktop can be a great fit if you already have an on-premises VDI solution deployed, or you want to move to the cloud and you have the expertise on hand to stand up and configure a cloud VDI environment. It's also a great fit if you want to modernize your VDI investments. And advanced virtualization functionality like custom workloads, app streaming, or multi-session virtual machines are other key reasons customers choose Azure Virtual Desktop. Some customers also decide that Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365 together are what they are looking for. It all depends on your priorities and business objectives. In fact, we have customers with global footprints using both products side by side to meet the varied needs of their employees. Now let's jump into comparing the admin experiences and deployment considerations to show you how all of this comes to life for both services. Flexibility and control for Azure Virtual Desktop and simplicity of experience for Windows 365. Eric, take it away.
All management of Windows 365 is performed from the Microsoft Intune Management Portal. Intune is a requirement and serves as the management control plane. All cloud PCs are Intune managed. Configuration Manager is supported and co-management is a requirement. The first step needed to test Windows 365 is to acquire licenses. There are 11 different license types that range from 2-core to 4-core to 8-core versions. Once you acquire your Windows 365 license, you need to assign that to your user. I'm not going to demonstrate that. After assigning it to a user, the next step that you need to take is creating a provisioning policy. I'm going to demonstrate this. And again, we're going to start from the Microsoft Intune Management Portal. I'm going to navigate to the part of the portal that you perform Windows 365 administration. I'm going to select provisioning policies, and I'm going to choose to create a provisioning policy. First thing you'll need to do is name it. And there are 4 questions that we ask you. We're going to ask you the join type, what type of network you want to connect to, your region, the type of image, and we recently added the capability of selecting a language pack. And so let me walk you through that. First part is select your domain join, Azure AD join or hybrid Azure AD join. We encourage you to select Azure AD join as that continues your journey on your modern management experience. The next choice that you can make is the network type. We provide a Microsoft hosted network that does not require you to bring an Azure subscription. This is the simplest and easy way to get up and going, or also to expand your production deployment. You can also choose to bring your own Azure subscription and deploy your cloud PCs into your virtual network so that they have line of sight networking with other resources in your environment. In this example, I'm going to select Microsoft hosted network. The next is region. We support 20 regions today and are continuing to expand our regional support. In this example, I'm going to select West Europe. Next is image. You can choose to import a custom image or select one of our gallery images that we provide. We have 2 different types of images. We have one that does not contain Microsoft 365 apps and another that contains Microsoft 365 apps. We support everything from 20H2 all the way up to the latest 22H2 versions. In this example, I'm going to select 22H2 Windows 11. That's the latest. The next option is language packs. This was a feature that we recently added, and it orchestrates and installs the operating system language. So if you select Danish, we will orchestrate the installation of Danish. And since I already selected an image that contains Microsoft 365 apps, we will also install the language pack Danish for M365 apps. So you have a complete immersed experience that is fully localized. The last option, if you choose, is to automatically enroll your devices into Windows Auto Patch. If you're using Windows 365 Enterprise, you already meet the requirements to use Windows Auto Patch. I'm not going to enroll into that. And lastly, you need to select your group that you assigned a license to. And that completes the process of creating a provisioning policy. After I select create, over the course of the next about an hour, whether you select 1, 10, 100, or 1,000 cloud PCs, they're going to be created. And you could view those cloud PCs right from the All Cloud PC node. In here, we enumerate all of the cloud PCs that you've created along with their status. Since each cloud PC is Intune managed, you get all the capabilities built in Intune natively provides. But there's some additional capabilities that we've added specific for cloud PCs. 2 of those are user connectivity, where we'll enumerate any issues with connectivity. There's also new features and capabilities where we perform connectivity checks on the cloud PCs to ensure that they are always available and ready for connections. Some additional capabilities that cloud PCs have are remote actions. You can still continue to perform a sync, a restart, but we've also added the capabilities to do a restore, where we take snapshots at regular intervals that you can revert to in the event of an issue. You can also choose to reprovision, which takes the cloud PC back to its factory original state. You also have the option of resize, where if you, for example, are provisioned with a 2-core CPU version of a cloud PC, you can upgrade to 4-core or 8-core. It's really easy after selecting this. We'll orchestrate the licensing swap on the back end. We'll adjust the CPU, memory, and disk, and it simply just takes a reboot of the cloud PC in order to accomplish that task. No end user data lost. And what additional feature and capability is you could put a cloud PC in what we call a legal hold or under review. This is great for e-discovery or forensic analysis. Now, after you've created your cloud PC, how do you connect to it? We've got clients available for all different variety of devices. We have full desktop clients for Windows and Mac. We also have clients for Android and iOS, and also a browser client. And I'm going to show you that experience. It's very simple. Just navigate and open up just as you go to your webmail, office.com. You can see you already can access your Outlook, your Teams, your other Office documents online. I can selectively choose to go up and select the other apps, and there's Windows 365. That's going to open up the available cloud PCs that have been assigned to me. And here I can see that I have one available, and I'm going to select to open that in my browser. And again, we support all different types of browsers. I'm going to select connect, and right now it's establishing a connection to that cloud PC. It's going to prompt me for my username and password one last time. I do not have single sign-on enabled. If I did, I would not be getting this prompt. And within seconds, I'm going to be connected to my cloud PC and be able to perform the work that I need to do and accomplish the tasks that I need to have. A cloud PC should be managed and governed in the same way as a physical PC. What that means is all the same policies and apps you deploy to a physical PC are applicable to a cloud PC. The same way you manage software updates using Windows Update for Business or Configuration Manager are also applicable to cloud PCs to keep them current. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint is a great complement of protection on your cloud PCs also. I've demonstrated the simplicity of deployment and how easy it is to get started using Windows 365. I hope you agree. And we want you to try Windows 365. To request a free trial license, navigate to the address shown on the screen and submit a request today. Now over to you, Roop, to tell us more about Azure Virtual Desktop.
Thanks, Rick. Azure Virtual Desktop is a great solution to use when migrating your on-premises VDI infrastructure and modernizing in the cloud. As we mentioned earlier, it is a powerful and flexible solution to customize and optimize for the exact needs of your organization. Let's go over a few things to consider when planning your deployment. Then I'll show you a powerful resource available as you put your Azure Virtual Desktop environment in place. And then ways to optimize, secure, and manage your deployment. First, you will need to select the control plane. In addition to Azure's native Azure Virtual Desktop solution, you have fantastic options from our partners, Citrix and VMware. If you are currently an on-premises customer for one of these two approved providers, they can help you move and run a hybrid environment both on-premises and in the cloud. Please work with them for their great resources to help you migrate to Azure. We are going to focus the remainder of this session on Azure Virtual Desktop. Let's jump into the portal to look at some of the options you will need to consider. Here we are in the Azure portal. So let's get through some of the key decisions you need to make while creating your first Azure Virtual Desktop host pool. A host pool is a collection of Azure virtual machines that register to the Azure Virtual Desktop as session hosts from where you can stream your desktops and apps. One of the first things you will need to decide is where do you want to create your host pool. Your choice determines where your host pool's service metadata will reside. Azure Virtual Desktop currently supports 6 geographies around the world, and we are constantly adding more geographies to this list. This control enables customers to meet any regulations related to data residency. You then get to select preferred app group for this host pool. You control the resources published to users through app groups. You have two choices here. First, remote app, where users access to remote apps you individually select and publish to the app group. Second, desktop, where users access the full desktop. There are two types of host pools you can create with Azure Virtual Desktop. First, personal, where each session host is assigned to an individual user. Second, pooled, where session hosts can accept connections from any user authorized to an app group within that host pool. You can set additional properties on the host pool to change its load balancing behavior, how many sessions each user or each session host can take, and what a user can do on the session host in that particular host pool when they are signed into it. Whenever possible, we recommend pooled to optimize usage of compute and storage resources. For pooled host pools, you will also want to use Azure Virtual Desktop's user profile management solution, FSLogix. We won't go into depth on FSLogix here, but you should know that you will also need to consider storage options for the profile containers. and you have flexibility to choose between Azure files and NetApp files there. Next is to look into the virtual machines that will be your session hosts. So let's briefly talk about this here. In addition to the VMs in Azure, Azure Virtual Desktop can also manage hybrid environments with Azure Virtual Desktop for Azure Stack HCI, which is now in public preview. If this is of interest to you, please check out our Ignite OD10 session where we review these new capabilities. Let's continue looking at the Azure VMs. The location of the session host VMs can be different than the host pool. We recommend you choose the location closest to your users. Session host VMs can be deployed in any of the available Azure regions today across the globe. You can ensure resiliency and high availability of these virtual machines by choosing to place them in Azure availability zones. If you have strict security requirements for the data on the VM, you will likely want to consider trusted launch VMs with the option to enable secure boot and virtual TPM. For the OS image, you can select a base image of Windows Server, Windows 10, or Windows 11. You can also choose to bring in your own custom image, and that's what majority of our customers do today. We recommend using multi-session with Windows 11 or 10 client to increase the utilization with multiple user sessions on a single VM. This is a feature which is exclusively available for Azure Virtual Desktop. You can also choose a VM size from all the available VM SKUs, including the GPU ones for specialized graphics and machine learning workloads. Similar to the VM sizes, you also have flexible storage options available for Azure Virtual Desktop. So as you can see in the drop-down, you have options between standard SSD, premium SSD, and standard HDD to choose from based on whatever workload you are hosting on Azure Virtual Desktop. Users connecting to Azure Virtual Desktop securely establish a reverse connection, which means that you don't need to open any inbound ports, which provides you the best security. Customers can choose to connect their session hosts to an Azure AD tenant or a classic Active Directory domain. So as I've just shown you, these are robust controls along with many others to give you maximum flexibility and full control over configuration and management while maintaining security. I walked through the Azure portal experience, but please note that you can also set up and manage your environment with Azure Virtual Desktop PowerShell module, Azure CLI, and REST APIs. That was an overview of a few of the pieces you can use to build your Azure Virtual Desktop deployment. With all these different options and varied environments and requirements that Azure Virtual Desktop can address, there is actually a lot of common foundational elements that all customers can benefit from to build out a secure and scalable solution. And Microsoft has gathered all our expertise and lessons learned working with customers to create these foundational types of environments and provide to you through Microsoft's Cloud Adoption Framework Enterprise Scale Landing Zone. The Enterprise Scale Landing Zone provides design guidelines, architecture, and implementation resources to help customers establish their Azure pieces that they can build off to match their scenarios and workloads. Enterprise Scale Landing Zone is Microsoft's direct recommendation based off experience, lessons learned, and best practices. Enterprise Scale Foundation will help you put in place a secure foundation with identity, access management, networking, and connectivity decisions, security controls and processes to protect your environment, and auditing and enforcement for governance. As part of this framework, Microsoft provides the Azure Virtual Desktop Landing Zone Accelerator, which builds off the enterprise scale foundation to put a secure and scalable Azure Virtual Desktop environment in place from start using automation through Terraform, ARM, or Bicep. Now that we have gone over fundamental pieces of Azure Virtual Desktop and Landing Zone, let me show you a new feature to help you reduce operating costs. Compute is by far the largest source of cost for Azure Virtual Desktop. To ensure you only pay for what you use, we strongly recommend you implement autoscale for pooled host pools. Autoscale is available in just about every region the host pools can be created in. When creating a scaling plan, you create one or more schedules for how session hosts will be scaled throughout the day for ramp up, peak, and off-peak hours. Once you have created the schedule, you can assign it to one or more host pools within the region and then create the scaling plan. And that's everything we have to share today. I'll let Eric take us home with a recap and next steps.
Thanks, Roop. As we wrap up today, I'd like to circle back to where we started and the ways of delivering Windows. After this session, I hope you have a better understanding of Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365. Azure Virtual Desktop excels at offering flexibility and control to IT admins who are experts in VDI management. And that is complemented by Windows 365, a complete SaaS solution that streams personalized, persistent desktop experiences to any device without requiring VDI expertise to set up, deploy, and manage. Now, we've listed some handy links here so you can continue learning about Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365. Take training courses to familiarize yourself in what's possible on both services and review other valuable resources. Check out our related sessions at Ignite to learn more, and tune in to other technical takeoff deep dives for even greater updates from Microsoft. Thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone.